Have you ever found yourself reacting impulsively to a situation only to regret it later? What if you could stay calm and unshaken, no matter what life throws your way? Welcome to Brain Power Academy. Today, we're diving into one of the most underrated skills that can transform your relationships, mindset, and life: the power of not reacting. Stick around, and you'll discover why sometimes doing nothing is the most powerful thing you can do. The science of reactions and why we react. Let's start by understanding why we react impulsively in the first place. From a scientific standpoint, our brain has evolved to react quickly to perceived threats, an instinct that was crucial for survival. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, plays a huge role here. When something triggers us, the amygdala sounds the alarm, initiating a reaction before the rational part of our brain has a chance to step in. But here's the thing: most of the situations we encounter today aren't life-threatening. When we react impulsively, we're letting our primitive brain take charge, often at the expense of our relationships, productivity, and inner peace. Benefits of not reacting. So why is not reacting so powerful? When we choose not to react, we gain control over our emotions, which allows us to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This can lead to stronger relationships, clearer decision-making, and a sense of calm and resilience. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Instead of reacting with anger, what if you simply observed the situation and let it go? You save yourself from unnecessary stress, and you continue your day with a clear mind. Not reacting gives you the freedom to decide what deserves your energy and attention. Examples from books: How Great Thinkers Use Non-Reaction. In The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey introduces the concept of the pause button. Covey suggests that between stimulus and response, there's a space, and in that space lies our power to choose our response. By pausing, we create room for rational thought and conscious decision-making, rather than letting emotions control us. Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, shares a similar concept. Frankl survived the horrors of a concentration camp, and he observed that his ability to not react to immediate suffering gave him an incredible sense of inner freedom. Frankl believed that in any situation, we have the freedom to choose our response. This is the essence of inner power and resilience. Practical steps to not react. Now let's dive into some practical steps you can take to master the power of not reacting. 1. Take a deep breath. When you feel triggered, pause and take a deep breath. This simple action calms the nervous system and signals the brain that it's okay to think before reacting. 2. Practice observing your thoughts. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is to observe your thoughts without immediately attaching to them. This technique, often used in mindfulness practices, helps you see thoughts as they are, temporary mental events, rather than facts you need to act on. 3. Count to 10 or use a mantra. Counting to 10 or repeating a calming mantra can create enough space for rational thought to step in. It's a simple way to interrupt the urge to react. 4. Ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow? By putting the situation in perspective, you can often realize that the momentary frustration or impulse to react isn't worth the long-term impact. This helps you choose your battles wisely. 5. Practice detachment and letting go. Detachment is about understanding that some things are beyond our control. Learning to let go can be incredibly empowering and help you conserve energy for what truly matters. Examples of non-reaction in real life. Let's look at an example. Think of a time when someone sent you a text that upset you. Instead of firing back a quick response, what if you'd taken a few moments to reflect? You might have chosen to respond calmly or even let the matter go, preserving both your peace and the relationship. In Atomic Habits, James Clear emphasizes the power of small actions that create long-term change. Each time you choose not to react impulsively, you're building a habit of self-control, which compounds over time into a strong foundation of emotional resilience. Neuroscience of self-control. Did you know that by practicing non-reaction, you're actually rewiring your brain? Neuroscience research shows that every time we resist an impulsive reaction, we strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and emotional regulation. Over time, this practice of non-reaction makes it easier to stay calm, measured, and in control, even in challenging situations. This is one of the reasons why meditation and mindfulness are so powerful. They train your brain to slow down, observe, and choose. Transforming relationships through non-reaction. Non-reaction doesn't just benefit you, it also transforms your relationships. When you're able to stay calm, others feel heard and respected, which builds trust and mutual respect. People admire those who can keep their composure and think before they act. Imagine a heated argument with a friend or partner. By choosing not to react impulsively, you create space for productive conversation and prevent the situation from escalating. This approach can make all the difference in strengthening relationships over time. The true power of non-reaction. Mastering the power of not reacting is a lifelong journey, but every small step brings you closer to inner peace, resilience, and self-control. Remember, the power lies not in controlling others or external circumstances, but in mastering your own responses. When you can do that, you have true freedom. If you found today's video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more insights on personal growth, mental strength, and emotional intelligence. Join us here at Brainpower Academy, and let's keep growing together. Meet Daniel, a life of constant reaction. Daniel was a marketing manager at a high-pressure firm, known for his drive but also for his tendency to react quickly. He wanted things done right and on time, but he often found himself feeling frustrated, which he expressed openly to his team. His impulsive reactions, like snapping when deadlines weren't met or sending tense emails in moments of anger, were creating tension in his office. But Daniel's quick reactions weren't limited to work. At home, he found himself reacting harshly to small issues, like his children's messy rooms or his partner's last-minute schedule changes. His relationships were suffering, and he felt disconnected and frustrated. The turning point one day, after a particularly heated argument with his partner, Daniel took a hard look at his behavior. He realized his tendency to react impulsively was straining his relationships and making him feel out of control. Seeking to improve himself, he read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, which introduced him to the concept of non-reaction and staying present. Intrigued, Daniel decided to try it. Putting the tips into action. A journey to non-reaction. 1. Practicing mindful breathing and counting to 10. Daniel's first test came at work. During a team meeting, a colleague disagreed with his idea for a new marketing campaign. Normally, he would have defended his plan right away, but this time, he paused and took a deep breath. He silently counted to 10, giving himself a moment to calm down and process the feedback. This small action changed everything. Instead of reacting defensively, he calmly asked his colleague to elaborate on their concerns. To his surprise, the discussion led to a new idea that improved the campaign. Daniel felt empowered. By not reacting, he had opened up space for collaboration and respect. 2. Observing thoughts rather than acting on them. At home, Daniel faced another challenge. His teenage son came home late, and his instinct was to scold him. But remembering what he'd learned, Daniel took a step back. He observed his anger without acting on it, mentally noting, "I'm feeling frustrated because I'm worried about his safety." By simply observing his emotion, he found himself less likely to act on it impulsively. When he finally spoke to his son, he approached the conversation calmly, expressing his concern rather than anger. This approach made his son open up about his evening and apologize sincerely, something that wouldn't have happened if Daniel had reacted in anger. Daniel realized that observing his thoughts allowed him to respond with empathy rather than frustration. 3. Using a mantra to stay grounded. One busy morning at work, a series of urgent emails hit Daniel's inbox, each demanding his immediate attention. His pulse quickened, and he felt the familiar urge to react with frustration. But this time, he repeated a mantra to himself. Stay calm. Let it pass. The simple words anchored him, helping him navigate the situation with a clear mind. Repeating the mantra prevented him from firing off reactive emails and helped him focus on prioritizing tasks. This small habit helped him handle stressful situations with a level-headed approach, which impressed both his colleagues and superiors. 4. Asking, will this matter tomorrow? A turning point in Daniel's journey came when a major client rejected his team's proposal, one they had worked on tirelessly. He felt the impulse to react with disappointment and frustration, but he remembered to ask himself, will this matter tomorrow, or even a month from now? Realizing that his reaction wouldn't change the outcome, he instead focused on how his team could improve the proposal. His calm approach motivated his team to stay resilient and come up with a revised plan. His composure turned a setback into an opportunity, earning him newfound respect from his team. 5. Setting boundaries and letting go. One of the biggest challenges for Daniel was setting boundaries. He used to take on more work than he could handle and would react angrily when deadlines felt overwhelming. Inspired by the subtle art of not giving a feck, he learned to start saying no to tasks that were outside his bandwidth. When a coworker asked him to take on an extra project at the last minute, Daniel calmly declined, explaining that he was focused on other priorities. This simple act of setting boundaries helped him conserve his energy and allowed him to give his best to the work he had already committed to. Over time, his colleagues respected his boundaries and came to see him as someone who valued quality over quantity. The transformation Daniel's journey with non-reaction transformed his work and home life. By practicing mindfulness, observing his emotions, and responding rather than reacting, he gained a new level of control and peace. Colleagues who once saw him as intense and reactive now admired his calm leadership, and his family noticed the change as well. At home, his relationships blossomed. His partner appreciated his new approach, and his children felt more comfortable coming to him with their problems. By mastering the art of non-reaction, Daniel found peace within himself, and his relationships were transformed as a result. Daniel's story shows that non-reaction isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about choosing how to engage with them. By following simple practices like breathing, observing thoughts, setting boundaries, and asking perspective-gaining questions, Daniel became a model of resilience and strength.